Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. I really like wearing sleeves. I really like wearing long sleeve stuff. I live in Arizona and it's 108 degrees today, but I still wanted to pull out the TSM sweatshirt. All this talk of Bjergsen being back, potentially returning to the starting lineup for TSM, potentially leaving, just, really has me in that, all out TSM mode. I'm so excited about next season now, but it's also just very, very hot. So if I pass out during the video or something, I don't know. Call the ambulance at least, get me some help, but we're going to try and tough it out. I think this sweatshirt's actually super dope. I love this color. Love a lot of the TSM merch. I wish TSM was, on that 100 Thieves type merch track, but we'll get there. But anyway, obviously with this news of TSM Bjergsen potentially returning to pro play, and also not just returning to pro play, but potentially testing the free agent market, leaving TSM for the first time in forever, however many years, we need to start talking about where the potential landing spots for him are, what makes sense, what's possible, where could he go? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video today. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. We're going to have tons of banger videos coming out this week, this next month, and really for the next couple of months. I mean, October, November, December is the best time of the year on this channel. So you guys don't want to miss out on any of the big, massive stories we're going to be covering. And consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm, to help support me, my channel, and my content. With that being said, let's get right into this. So Bjergsen, I do think that he will be staying with TSM. If you made me guess, if I had to bet, if I had to put money on it, I would say he is returning to TSM. Now, the reports are that he's going to be testing free agency. And again, testing free agency does not mean that you are leaving your team. It means you want to field offers. You want to see what's out there. You want to see what type of deals you can get. Who is going to throw how much money? Who's going to throw how much other stuff at you? Because you got to think, TSM has thrown Bjergsen a lot of extra things. TSM, with all of their players, they usually have streaming requirements. They allowed Bjergsen to not have any streaming requirements. They gave him ownership of the team, and they gave him a deal, that allowed him to go from like player to coach, everything like that. And his contract expires in this November anyway. So even if he was still going to be a coach, he would still have to, get into some contract negotiations with TSM. He still could potentially field other offers, and you can field other offers to have leverage and negotiating power with your own organization. TSM, they got this FTX money now. Bjergsen might want to get a little part of that. He might go and be like, hey, G2 offered me this much. Hey, Fnatic offered me this much. What are you going to do for me, TSM? And try and milk them out for all the money he can get. That's absolutely just a smart business play. Or, and I don't want to say this as an LCS fan or a TSM fan or whatever, he could be testing free agency to potentially leave. He could, leaving could be a realistic option for him if the right situation pops up, if the right contract pops up. Now, at the end of the day, I do believe Bjergsen at his core is a competitor. And also, this guy is set for life in terms of money. He is rich. He is good. He is good. I'm sure he still wants to make more money. Obviously, if a ton of money is on the table, he wants to make sure his family and himself are set up for generations, which they're probably good, but you can, create a crazy legacy. You can do insane things with money for your family, for your country, for whatever he wants to do. If there's money being thrown around, obviously he wants to get a piece of that. But I do believe at the end of the day, he is going to go to a competitive team. So I think that knocks out, half of the LEC and half of the LCS right there. So I'm really only even going to be considering top teams that, with Bjergsen added to them, not only could they be competing for domestic titles, but they could at least be, getting out of groups at Worlds, which again is something Bjergsen has only done one single time in his career. That is the one big asterisk on his resume, on his legacy. He's had some good international performances. He's had some bad ones too, but overall, his teams have usually let him down. Now, I really don't think he's played on many top level teams. I think there's been two TSM teams, I think it's 2014 and 2016, that I really think had a chance to do anything internationally. One time they got out of groups. One time, they lost in tiebreakers, the double lift Victor play. Other than that, TSM has had a lot of not great teams in terms of overall talent. Even that 2020 TSM team that went 0-6, that team was bad. That was a washed double lift, a washed bio, a young Spica. That team, it's not surprising to me that team didn't do well, but when I start looking at the teams and start looking at who is even possible, who is even reasonable, one of the teams that comes to my mind and what I want to focus on right now, at least for the next couple of minutes, is Team Liquid. Now, this is crazy, but think back to when Doublelift was on TSM, and he left TSM to go to Team Liquid, and Bjergsen had to watch his friend. They are close friends. They have a good working relationship. He had to watch his friend go and win, 4 or 5 LCS titles with Team Liquid, while TSM struggled to even make Worlds and often didn't even make Worlds, or I don't think they ever made Worlds while Doublelift was on TL. He got to see him go have all this success. He grew his brand. He grew his legacy. People started saying that Doublelift had passed Bjergsen in terms of, being the best LCS player of all time, being the best, just LCS player, and really passed him up in terms of legacy and all this stuff. And he went on and had all this success. He made it to MSI Finals. Again, Doublelift still didn't go to any international events and have any international success. So in terms of that, maybe not a huge success, but DL definitely had better years on TL than Bjergsen had on TSM as of late, at least, within the last 4 years. So could Bjergsen want some of that for himself? Again, this is under the hypothetical situation that Bjergsen is actually considering leaving TSM again. I don't think that is the case, but none of us know for sure. TL is in an amazing spot. I think they have the best top laner in the league in Alphari. I think next year he's going to bounce back really, really strong now that there's no drama and everything surrounding it. I think they have the best support in the league in Core JJ. I think they have 2 of the best overall players in the league in Alphari and Core JJ. Now there's some other guys in that mix for sure. Obviously Closer had an amazing playoff. Spica's up there. There is some other players in the league that are very, very good, but Core JJ and Alphari are great. You put together Alphari, Core JJ, and Bjergsen, all of a sudden you have a super team in North America that can actually do some things. Now, whether Santorin is the jungler, who has history with Bjergsen, or whether TL goes out and brings in another jungler, there is some rumors of maybe Blabber coming to Team Liquid, something like that. Then, again, that's another one of the best players in North America. And then at AD, you have the option to import. You can go get a Chinese AD carry. You can go get a Korean AD carry. You could go get Reckless. And then all of a sudden, Team Liquid looks like an insane team. What you have to remember about Bjergsen is that he is a resident mid laner, and if Core JJ does get his green card, you would have Bjergsen resident and Core JJ resident, and whatever else you can build around that. TL could build a team that could win so many LCS titles in a row, and then actually look to have stellar international performances, potentially compete for Worlds, quarterfinals, semifinals positions. That, I think, would actually be an LCS team that could stack up against some other teams in the world, which is what I think the LCS needs to do. I think we need to start building more super teams. Rather than having 3 to 4 okay teams, go out and build something crazy. And yes, I know TL likes Jensen a lot. They signed him to a long-term deal, but there's no way they like him more than Bjergsen. And this would write so many memes. Bjergsen and Jensen have had this rivalry throughout this whole thing. If he just unretires, knocks Jensen out of his spot on TL, and then where would Jensen go? Jensen would have a ton of options all of a sudden. But as far as the NA teams, Bjergsen is going to go to a good team. And if he leaves TSM, what teams would he realistically go to at NA? Cloud9 has Perks. 100 Thieves just got Abadage. Obviously, they would take Bjergsen over Abadage, probably. But who knows if that's going to happen. I could see TL being a realistic option. TL being interested in Bjerg, and Bjerg actually being interested in TL as well. We know TL has the money to get it done. Obviously, Steve loves to throw around that money. Would TL potentially throw some ownership at Bjergsen as well? I could definitely see it. And all of a sudden, I think TL would become easily the scariest team in North America, but potentially even a team that some other teams around the world would have to fear, would have to respect. And again, I don't know how likely this is, but when I look at the rest of the LCS, if Bjergsen's leaving, to me, this seems like the most logical fit. Haven't heard any rumors, haven't heard any stories, anything surrounding this, but this is just me, kind of turning the gears in my head, getting some thinking going. And honestly, that roster seems very, very intriguing to me, and I think it's at least worth talking about. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so, so much. Leave a comment down below. Do you think that TL Bjergsen would be a good move for TL? For Bjergsen, a bad move? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.